So what happens if Padme would have turned to the dark side and joined Anakin on his journey? Hello there, my Star Wars family. What's up? It's Robbie with Star Wars HQ, and we're talking about the alternative path Padme could have taken in her life. So first up, let's set the scene. The story would have been a bit different in how Padme would have found out about Anakin's alignment with the dark side. First of all, her journey to becoming Sith would be a very gradual process. The first indication would come from her feeling that the Jedi neglected how they handled Anakin's poor mother. Simply put, she would have felt that not enough was done to save her and would have shared in Anakin's anger and grief. Her anger would start here, and she would begin arguing with Obi-Wan and the Jedi Order. Anakin would have later approached her and let her know of his plan, selling the Sith by telling her the dark side would save her children. This would be first and foremost in her mind and would be enough to convince her after she witnessed how the Jedi handled Anakin's mother. While Anakin would be drawn to the dark side to save his love Padme, she, on the other hand, would be drawn to it to save her unborn children, and so begins her journey with him and the Sith. The Emperor would then execute Order 66. This time, however, Padme's voice would be just as loud as the Emperor's, guiding Anakin not to kill all the Jedi children, but instead hide them away to be trained as Sith. Anakin would think this over, of course, and would finally agree to please Padme, and perhaps the children would become of great use in the future, his greatest apprentices. That is at least the hope. This would, of course, instill her usefulness to Anakin and prove she is capable of making better decisions than even the Emperor and has more influence over Anakin than Palpatine does. Obi-Wan would then confront Padme and Anakin on Mustafar, but this time would not realize Padme had turned to the dark side. And by the way, of course, by now Anakin would be known as Darth Vader. Unfortunately for Obi-Wan, she would stab him in the back to save her children. Her anger against the Jedi Order still intact over Anakin's mother, and Anakin would deal the striking blow. Obi-Wan would survive the encounter, but not unscathed, and he would have to flee. Strangely, Anakin's visions of Padme's impending death would slowly vanish, and it would be by their confidence and knowledge of the dark side that they would be able to move on. Besides, the Emperor expected resistance from Padme, which of course would lead to her death. With her new path, though, this would not happen. Padme would instead give birth to Leia and Luke. Anakin would begin training the boy in the ways of the Sith, and Padme would take on training for Leia in the ways of the Senate. Now, Anakin, aka Darth Vader, would reveal he would ultimately like to take Palpatine's place, and Padme would agree that she would help him if he would secure her children's future. This plan would be a slow burn, taking well over a decade to implement. Besides, the Emperor is very well connected and very powerful. During these 15 to 20 years, Anakin and Padme would continue training the children in secret, and as they grew older, she would place them in strategic spots around Coruscant to keep track of the Emperor's movements and his closest allies. Luke would remain on Coruscant until the age he could begin traveling with Anakin, and Leia would always remain by Padme's side. When it would come time, the order would be given, and the new Sith Order would strike down the Emperor. And so it was. Anakin was now Emperor and had succeeded in everything he sought out to conquer, but he was always hungry for more. His son Luke would learn everything from him, including skills with the lightsaber, becoming a fierce pilot and keen ruler. However, Luke would also have his same desires for power, therefore later attempting to strike down Anakin for the Emperor's chair. Luke would fail and survive the encounter though, and Darth Vader would be most impressed with his son's power and knew in time he would make a great leader. As for Leia, she would continue reforming the government with her mother Padme, ensuring the family's power spread throughout the galaxy. As you can see, Padme's survival ensured that the new empire was ruled by an entire house, a true family that would work together to secure their own future. So there you guys have it, the alternate path for Padme. Let me know what you guys make of this, and let me know if you want to see more Star Wars fan fiction like this. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you later, and may the Force be with you always.